92, 86, 80, 74, and 66. Resistance above at 09, 19, 28, 34, and 41. All right, let's repeat the levels. 3,400 is our pivot. Resistance at 09, 19, 28, 34, and 41. Support below at 92, 86, 80, 74, and 66. What's the settlement price? Any questions you ask? 93.50. All right, market opens up there. See what the day brings. Yesterday was a very fun morning for us. And the low of the day, by the way, was our 56 that we had yesterday. All our levels played very nicely yesterday. Maybe had one that had yet to work a little bit, but for the most part, I think we did okay yesterday. And with our trades, it's a very good morning for us. And why not have the low today primed up, given to you? Hopefully someone took advantage of the fact that you had it and you were able to maybe ride it a little bit, because it was a nice comeback in the market. They always overreact. And again, most of the reason that the market was down, lack of stimulus talk coming out of Washington, and also the fact that the numbers seems to be making new highs here, and it's causing a little bit of concern here for the market. Regardless of what the president is trying to do and pretend like it's not happening, but it's happening. So, unfortunately, but that's what's going on there, and the market just kind of discounted most of it and pretty much said, there's a problem here. And the market reacted that way yesterday, and that sell-off. But that sell-off was good for us. I mean, it didn't really happen until a little half hour into the day, but once it did, it worked out well for us. And I hope if you've been with us for a while, that you were able to take advantage of most of the opportunities that the market gave us yesterday as we quickly come down here to our 92 area. We're working this 92 area here. I think somebody could easily made 90 as our backup, so that's why I put in the 92, so maybe you averaged out there a little bit. All right, let's see what else is going on here as we're to work this little area here. Let's see, go Dodgers. Yeah, I didn't say that. I was just repeating a chat message that somebody sent me. I kind of just work in this 90 area, loaded overnight. 92 also our level. There is consumer confidence coming out here at 9 o'clock. So I somewhat maybe important number coming out here at 9 o'clock. And Richmond Fed also at 9, but the consumer confidence number is a bigger number coming out here at 9. So we'll look for that to give us some, just know that it's out there. See what it wants to do. Like I said, you could have used the 90 as well, so maybe averaged out there a little bit with our trade here. So kind of work in this little area, see what it wants to do. Concerns about COVID-19 infection rates appear to have come back to the forefront for the markets as average daily cases hit a record high in the United States just days after the presidential election, just days away from the presidential election. Wall Street sold off on Monday, led by declines in energy, industrial stocks, and other cyclicals, prompting the Dow to slide 650 points to a record. To record its worst week since September. All right, China. Yeah. Nice little rotation here. Again, you could have used a 90 as well. Use that as a backup. Maybe you averaged in. Giving us a nice little push up here. All right. So that's a nice little quick trade there that we got. And well, I got the, now you should be okay with this trade. Now for sure you're good with this trade. All right. Had to work down just a little bit, but we never made a new low once the bar closed, and a nice quick rotation back up here. I'll repeat the levels again. Our pivot this morning is 3,400. 3,400. Support 92 here. 86. 70, 80, 80, 74, 66, resistance above at 09, 19, 28, 34, and 41. All right, nice little quick rotation there off of the level on the downside there. Hopefully you were able to take advantage of it, whether you got in at 90 or at 92 like I had. And a nice push up here, back up here to our pivot here at even. You're able to hold on to them. Okay, good. All right, good HD. Good job. All right, let's see. So infection is market was down 650 points yesterday in the worst week since September. Echoing the weakness compounded with little hope of stimulus package from Washington, the U.S. stock index has figures hug the flat line in overnight trade. To me, this is phase 2 of the pandemic, said Frank, some analyst at some company, until we get some irritation of the virus. It's going to be like a great cloud. All right, our pivot players got paid off here. If you trade our pivot as well, so you got paid off here on both the lower end there, plus our pivot players got paid off first rotation back to it. No, the 89 would not have been, you would not have got, you the low of the move was 89 and a quarter. So if you put a 3-point stop with a 92, you did not get filled on the downside. The low was 89 and a quarter, so you couldn't have gotten filled if you had a mechanical stop there. All right, so next rotation, back to the pivot. Our pivot players are happy. Our first level, support level traders are happy, and it's 839. Nice job. VIX solidly at 32 and at 75, which is good for us, I think. We like those. This is a good area for us right in here. It starts getting crazy and above 40 and starts getting weaker below in the 20s. This is good ebbs and flows for us. We like this little area here. So let's not get greedy and ask for too much volatility. Let's just ask for this much volatility. All right, well, we'll see what happens. Next up on the downside, we have is the 86. Pivot players there played off and could have gotten short. Pivot this morning is 3,400. Support at 92, 86, 80, 74, 66. Resistance at 09, 19, 28, 34, and 41. More than a third of S&P 500 index components, or 186 companies, are set to report third quarter results this week, including some of the top names. In the index, today's lineup includes manufacturing behemoth 3M, Caterpillar, healthcare giant Pfizer, Eli Lilly, Merck, as well as tech giant Titans, Microsoft, AMD. While net earnings are surprising to the upside, with the exception of a few misses, the market seems laser focused on the election, COVID-19, and other news related to stimulus talks. You too, David. Big buy order there at the 84. Well, that's good backup for us if you're looking for backup. Okay, market is getting a little slippery here, but it's okay. We'll take slippery as long as it slippery's up the other way. Hopes dim on stimulus deal. Coronavirus aid package before the election is looking less likely by the day as the Senate adjourned after confirming Amy Coney Barrett's nomination for the U.S. Supreme Court. Members will now be allowed to leave the Capitol and join their House counterparts on the campaign trail where the representatives have been since early October. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi still remains optimistic about a pre-election deal following Monday's phone call with Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, but is still waiting for White House to accept the language around COVID testing. He's got something. He's got something to complain about. It's not the state's funding, it's language around COVID testing. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous how stupid these people are. It's amazing they have jobs. And we give it to them. Intensifying its battle with Intel and the data center chip market, Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, also agreed to buy Xilinx for $350 billion, the big B, all-stock deal. The tie-up would create a combined firm with 13,000 engineers. Ooh. That's a hefty payroll with a nimble manufacturing strategy that relies heavily on Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing. Since taking over AMD in 2014, Lisa Su has focused on data centers that power internet-based applications and services, which has fueled the rise in artificial intelligence and 5G telecommunication networks. All right, Lisa Su. I drifted down to 88 there and coming back around. If you did get short, it was a nice place to get short there on their pivot. And first rotation off of a low on the downside. If you're trying to stay short or get short, yeah, little opportunity there. We did bounce off of our 92 area very nicely. Again, you could have easily had the 90 was a backup, and it was a good case to have that in there also. Nice quick rotation. Now we're just kind of sidewinding here a little bit. See what it wants to do. It's trying to decide. Markets always seem to have come back after some kind of sell-off. I don't know if it's going to happen today or not, but we'll see. All right, we're hugging the kind of break-even area here. It's both sides of it a little bit. Very relatively quiet overnight trade. Not much happening. It was probably one of the tightest overnight ranges I've seen in a long time. It was like 20 S&P points, which these days is not much. But that was the whole overnight range. Again, very, very quiet overnight trade. All right, just again, we're hugging the break-even point here at 3.5, 93.5, and just kind of trading on both sides of it. support level is the 96 area. Not paying any attention to China's recent sanctions. The United States State Department has, as we come down here to the, well, trying to come down to the 86 area, signaled its approval for a potential 2.5 billion sale of anti-ship missiles to Taiwan. As many as 100 Harpoon coastal defense systems built by Boeing could be shipped. On Monday, Beijing said it would impose sanctions on Boeing's defense unit, Lockheed Martin, and marathon over another 1.8 billion arms sales to Taiwan, an island with which it has not ruled out the use of force to achieve reunification. And that could be the next hot 86, what did I say? That could be the next hotspot, by the way, this Taiwan, China, 96, yeah, 86, sorry. That could be the next hotspot as far as any kind of army or war confrontation is Taiwan and China. The United States is throwing money into Taiwan. The Chinese want to get them back. Chinese want to get everybody back. They got Hong Kong back. They're trying to get Taiwan back into their grasp. So at least that's what I read. See what happens. Do we have a number coming out here in about 8 minutes? Back up here against our break-even level here. So market really not going anywhere fast. But that's okay. We had a nice little quick rotation, and now we're just kind of hanging around. All right. Sure. Our pivot this morning is 3,400. Support at 92, 86, 80, 74, 66. Resistance at 09, 19, 28, 34, and 41. Let me try to type it in here and see how this works. There. How's that? I typed them in for you. I don't know how to do it like you do, but I think it's kind of what that makes sense. All right. I don't know if that'll work. I don't know if I can do it again. I don't know how you do it again all the time so easily, but don't work for me. I know I tried to do that. It doesn't work for me. I don't know why. It should work for me, but it doesn't. I know I heard about that, Don. There's another one floating your way. It's amazing this year for you. It's just been a brutal season. Okay. I don't know. It doesn't work for me as easy as it does for you. I've tried to do that many a time. Anyway, so again, we're just kind of got our first level of triggered down there at 92, came back up, we had a nice little pivot rotation off of it, and now we're just kind of trading sideways here, both sides of the limit prices. There's a number coming out here in about a minute. The consumer confidence number could be a little bit of a market mover. I know it keeps going right over Louisiana. I know it's just it's brutal. No, nice. Way to go, Sardar. No, whatever. It's a nice little trade. Good job. Chad, thanks, Chad. No, I could pencil in the levels on my charts, except we make adjustments to them sometimes, and I don't want anybody to think that this is exactly what it is, because we, depending on the price action, might have to make an adjustment to it, and so I don't want it to seem like it's something that like etched in stone. So I try to keep them off the charts for that reason, because we are, sometimes we do make adjustments to the levels verbally, and that way I don't like to put them up there. Yeah. Okay. Don, Mark, he in California, and he's got his Dodgers are all he's hot and heavy over his Dodgers. He goes, tell him to saddle up your horse and meet me at the game tonight. I think they're playing it down in Texas someplace. And so he wants you to meet him there. I'm sure you got their big 10-gallon hat up there sitting in the stands. He won't be able to miss you. You got a lot of California people there. They don't even know what a 10-gallon hat is, probably. He can't. He's running from another storm. He said he's got to board up again. There's another store coming up in the Gulf there. This is like amazing. The number of storms that are hitting, like one hit him, his area there, and he's in Houston, down in the Texas area, but Louisiana is just getting pummeled. Oh, Chad's complaining about the cold in Texas. It can't be colder than here. It's like they're expecting 28 degrees tonight. No, 33 degrees down. Huh, that's cold for Texas, 33 degrees. That's snow weather for you guys. You even know what that is down there? Don says he's got a lot of firewood. He's good to go. He doesn't need. He's staying nice and toasty and warm. It's a little early though. I mean, I guess not. November is Sunday or Monday, so I guess it's not too early. I one time went to a baseball game. It was at I got invited. Don't worry. It was Sox were in the playoffs. This is before their World Series run. This is when they first opened up their new baseball field that they just built. So this was a while ago, and so I got invited, and they make the playoffs, and it's a wintry, cold day, and it was an October day, I should say, and I'm sitting at second level seats, first row, second level. They were good seats on a normal day, but second level seats, and the wind is high. When you get this wind in Chicago in October or any cold day, it's brutal. And I'm sitting there. The wind is howling in my face up on the second level. I'm like, this is stupid. This is so stupid. That's probably the last time I went to a baseball game, but I haven't been to Wrigley Field in a while. I've been to Wrigley Field many a time, but not in a while. Sure, the levels. Sir Dar, can you type in the levels for me? Because I've tried to do this, I can't do it. Don said that the cold temperature, yeah, the number's out. As you can tell, it's kind of whipping around here a little bit, going nowhere fast. Didn't really react too well to it. There's the levels. Thanks, Sir Dar. I don't know why I can't do it. I've tried many a time. I even tried to copy yours and put it in. It doesn't work. Anyway, So they say Don saying that the cold front there in Houston or Texas is keeping that storm from coming towards it. So it might be cold down there in Texas, but it's also keeping you dry. Okay, I'll try that again. What happens at the levels that make them work? Why do they work? And what's the question? HT? What happens at the levels that make them work? Why do they work? Okay, I think I understand the question. Maybe why do markets bounce off of levels? I guess is the question. And well, why did one day somebody decide to track markets on a chart? Yeah, the simplest answer by Don is telling you so we can make money. All right, there you go. Let's get him coming in here with his Texas wisdom. Why did somebody one day put a chart together, right? And decide to chart movement of the market, any market for that matter. I don't know, but then they took maybe it was just simply a way for them to find out how markets. I mean, how did all of these guys get their systems figured out? They probably were some kind of technicians who wanted to figure out why or how markets move around, and they put together. They came up with this, these charts, and then why? But why did I guess you're asking me why do markets kind of bounce off of these areas versus why are there charts? um, I guess simply because of supply and demand. I mean, when a market, I mean, you got to remember that a lot of traders are scalping the market. There's more probably scalpers in the market than there are, position traders. Maybe I'd say position traders, long-term position traders. And the way you could figure that out is by looking at the open interest in the market, right? If you look at the open interest in the market, you see what positions there are in the market. The What percentage of that, the rest of it is probably just scalping opportunities. So what you're seeing basically is that the market is basically bouncing off of support and resistance areas simply because the traders who are scalping the market, right, are doing it in a way that they are finding. You get a little bit of a push one way. They're a little bit short or long. They find a level on a chart that shows support or resistance. I mean, so the art of the charts created the art of finding levels, and the levels were created simply by the scalpers out there who are taking profits off of certain levels. And how do they find those levels? When they either get too long or too short and the market rotates. Does it happen all the time that way? No, but it's just one way that the market kind of trades. Um, when we were trading in the bond bid, and I don't know why markets bounced off of areas that I could never tell you. So, but what somebody did though was they find these areas, and all of a sudden there's like this big um, level. Now, some of these levels can correlate to, in the bond market could correlate to like the percentage yield on a bond, these, let's say a 2% yield, a straight number, or 2.25% yield. So some of these levels do correlate to a certain big number in the bond market. So maybe you can understand in the bond market when it gets to a certain level that somebody's trying to hedge their market position and their bigger portfolio against that certain level, and so you bounce off it because he's got a big order in there. Okay, so I guess that you can transfer that kind of concept to the S&Ps, where there's some kind of valuation somewhere along the line that somebody's figuring it out, and that valuation correlates to something that a level, and it bounces off of that level. Again, it definitely is a unique situation with how markets trade, right? And how they roll around and what they do. It's definitely fun to watch, and try to try not to overthink it. That's all. It's one of those things that you don't try to overthink. I mean, I can't even give you a straightforward. I mean, that's one explanation. I don't even understand if it's the right one, but that's one way of looking at markets. Well, the order flow to come from into a level, yeah, I mean, it does help, right? But I guess your question is, why does it find that area? Why does it find that order flow to come in at that certain level, right? I mean, that's what you're asking me. I can't answer you. I don't know. That's a tough question to answer. I wish I could give you a better answer why a certain level. But I will say that once somebody came up with these charts and these good ideas, then they were able to use it to their advantage. Yeah, I mean, they came out with that. But the question is, why was there a support level to begin with? As there was a real question. Well, I mean, that's the easy way to say that there's more buyers than sellers. That at some point there was more sellers than buyers. At some point there's going to be an overflow of one way or the other, because some people are they're either too short and trying to get out, so there's more buying orders in there, or they're too long and they're trying to get out and there's more sell orders in there, and that's where you get the bounces. And I guess supply and demand is the easiest way to describe it, right? So that's the easiest way to describe the movement of the stocks. It's basically supply and demand of any area. Yeah, well, that's sometimes you just slice through a level because there's news that comes out. So you have the technical aspect of the business, right? It's always there. The technical aspect is the one that keeps the market bouncing off of certain levels every now and then, supply and demand kind of thing, right? But then when you have the fundamental news that's piped into the market, the that causes a shift in the fundamentals take over for the technicals. 95% of the time, the technicals do work. That 5% of the time that the market kind of goes through levels really quickly is pretty much based on fundamental news, reaction to uh, whatever the news is that's going to create a lack of in this situation, lack of some kind of stimulus deal. You got the presidential election coming up. You got COVID. Whatever news is, or whatever fundamental news is that's going to push or move a market for any particular moment in time is what would uh, create those gaps that you see that the levels don't work or the technicals don't work. So 95% of the time, I'd say the technicals work. And then the 5% of the time is when the fundamentals come in there that create these whooshes in the market. And without any rhyme or reason, you get the volatility in there, both to the upside and the downside. So, again, it's if you try to break down a market and try to figure out why it does things, we'll be here all day. So we don't need to do that. It's something we don't need to do. Uh, we just try to accept a reasoning where we can make some money. If you're trying to figure out, I mean, if I could tell you why the market's moving any particular moment in time, then I would be, we don't need me here. You'd all be making money and we'd all be happy every single day, but we don't know that. So this is not, markets move in complex ways, and they have internals that also move the markets. Different reasons why the markets are doing what they're doing. Yeah, so it's not an easy answer, why markets move. And but there's a whole, let's put it this way: if you throw in the technicals, you throw in the fundamentals, you throw in the daily, you throw in your news items that come out every day, you throw in the political aspects of what's going on, especially because we're trading S&Ps, and that kind of affects. You throw in the emotional aspect of the trade. You throw in what people are trying to figure out what's going to happen from day to day. You throw in all those things into a big equation, it comes out with a price. And hopefully you're thinking that the market, because it's an efficient market, will figure out that equation and come up with a price that's fair, that encompasses all those reasonings. Now, all those uh, different um, uh, parts of the equation change every day. And so we come in here and we don't know what aspect of that equation is going to change. We just know some parts of it or some of it's going to always change from day to day as the market kind of trades every day, because it trades on news and trades on different things that are going to affect it, right? So, I mean, there's no really great answer to that. I'm just trying to tell you that trying to figure out an answer is the hard part. So let's not go there. All right, we'll come down here to our 86 area. Again, it's very tough to try to figure out why markets move. Yeah, Don saying Trump did it. All right, market drifting down here. Again, keep your stop in no matter what it is. And that way you don't have to worry about going through or not. And then you can look for next trade. Look, it could be talking about the anything that comes out of Washington, anything that doesn't, or they can be talking about maybe the reaction to the consumer confidence number. You know, okay, coming down here to the 80. Yeah, they get down to 1.25. 1.25 there if you're trading the 81. So maybe make a little bit of an adjustment there. Obviously, you missed it by just a little bit. So if you need to make an adjustment down to maybe the 79 area, you could. Yeah, a lot of people correlate what we do to gambling, um, but you can just tell them that they don't understand what we're doing. So that's funny. Probability is more accurate than gambling. Yeah, I mean, look, people, you know, uh, you're not you're not going to get away from that idea of when you tell them you're trading futures that you're not gambling. It's just it is what it is. That's all. Probability is more accurate than gambling. Well, that's okay. We could take that explanation. But still, well, it just doesn't matter. I mean, people just don't understand. I mean, you're telling me trading options too. I mean, the other one is the people who trade options. They don't know what are options. Anything in trading business is kind of tough to try to have to explain. Um, Mark says that he tells people he's a hedger, and they ask him whether he cut the grass as well. Yeah, everybody's joking around here today. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to explain. All right, nice bounce there. We got down to 80, well, almost 81. Bouncing back up there, so the 80 there would be a little bit more, a little bit riskier. Maybe lower it a little bit down to 79 or so, 78 in that range. Uh, no, I didn't. Don tells everybody that he plays on a computer. flares there, Steve P. I think the market's kind of bounced there. We got down to 80, 82, well, just short of 81. So, um, and then bounced back up here a little bit. 81 and a quarter went down to, and then bouncing back up here. And so resistance would be back around the 90 to 93 area, 93, 94 area. All right, nice little pop back up here. we got up to the 92 area, that earlier support level. Seems to have bounced off of that. We're looking at 93, a little resistance. Well, you can move it down to, I think, you can go to 78.5 if you want. Some little back up there. And look, if it's a little too risky for you, why? You don't have to say, I guess. You just cancel the order. You need to feel confident, right, in putting on the trade. If it's risky, then just get out of it. That's because you're thinking too much. When are we going to do another class? Maureen, maybe tomorrow? Maureen, are you around? It, yeah, hi. Another class tomorrow, is that okay? Or Thursday, it doesn't matter. Okay. Tomorrow it is. About 1 o'clock Chicago time. rotating up here, trying to see if we're going to stay here above the pivot or not. Getting a little bit choppy here in this little range. Again, the 92 was a nice rotation off of that 92, which kind of got right up, made sense against our old resistance level. And now we're just kind of punching through here a little bit. You got the green band coming in there at even. Seems like some kind of news is out. Well, the class is basically just going into how we get the levels and why we would use them, and just goes into uh, deeper mindset. Is to the objective of the course really is to be able to, for each individual to be able to find these levels on your own, to understand why we would pick them, what to look for, how to enter your trades, and then there's also the psychological part of it. So it's a combination of all of those, but more in depth. All right. All right, we double top there against the 96 and change area. Again, getting a little choppy here, kind of stopping in the middle of nowhere. Let's see what it wants to do here. I think we get above 98, we might rally a little bit. And now we're trading both sides of our blue band, so it's got to decide what it wants to do here. The levels for today, okay. Is that possible? Are you still there, sir, there? If you can dump them in there for me. All right, I'll give you the levels. Our pivot this morning is 3,400. Oh, there they are. Oh, there they are. Oh, okay, 30. All right, well, no, there. Got it. Okay. Thanks, HD. So there's a pivot, there's support and resistance on both of them. And now we're just kind of trading in the middle of this range here. Not as active as we were yesterday. but still, I had a couple nice trades. I seems to double tap there and then decided to push down there off of our blue band. It's still, it looks it's staying, it wants to stay a little bit weak. I think you can get out of any shorts if we get above the 98 area. Getting a little bit choppy here. Market's a little bit nervous, I think. Again, you got to remember that you have to be concerned about what's going on with, um, the talks of Washington, if they're going to come up with something, if they're not. So that's always a consideration of why you get some movement all of a sudden. And that's why you just gotta stay focused and get out if it runs against you. You don't want to you don't know which way it's going to go, one way or the other. And we definitely don't want to get caught with this stuff. So getting a little bit choppy in this little area. Just seemed to be range bound here. They got up to 97 and it came back down and then kind of trying to stay here below our blue bands, getting a little bit choppy. It's trading both sides. Not really, it doesn't know what it really wants to do. All right, again, we are just kind of range bound here, kind of going nowhere fast. I think we get above 98, we might rally a little bit. Pivot there is at even, so not that much of a move on the downside. We got to get, obviously, we got to get below. Well, the 80 there is a little bit more tenuous now because of the fact that we got down to 81 and a quarter there, so it's a little bit more risky. And especially with this price action, I think it could go a little bit lower. So if you're a little bit more risk averse, look for the 74 area. Yeah, I figured it out there, Steven. Um, yeah, I don't know. Their HD. I don't know. Does anybody? HG's asking why he doesn't have a double top at 96 and a half like I do. Does anybody have the same thing, or is there he's got 97 on the next bar right in here. I've got this double top here at 6.5. He says he doesn't have that. Um, yeah, I mean the 92. As long as we it could go either way here. We haven't really closed 2 bars above or below the blue band. I mean, if you're gonna, I don't know. This is a choppy area here. It could go. It could just be bouncing around. Well, I gotta respect the blue band. So yeah, they both 96.75 is what they have. And Don says he's not showing a double top. So you might be right. Don says he has 97. I've got 96.75 there. Kind of a little strange there. I got 96.50. I don't know. What is this? I got, and it does say 96.75. Last time it went up to 96.50. Mark has 96.75 also. Double top. So Don has 96.75 and then 97. Maybe it's like, it's not. Both of these are right there. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have an explanation. Don says it shows his is a new spike by tick, new high by tick, so that could be the reason it went down. But I got him right up there at even. So all right, there, Steve. You have a good one. Mine's at 675. So I don't know. My chart anyway.